Armed agents raid an animal shelter for a baby deer.
Tonight, Colleen Henry investigates an operation raising questions about the use of government resources and the state policy that meant a death sentence for the fawn.
It was like a SWAT team.
2 weeks ago, Ray Schulze was working in the barn at the Society of St. Francis on the KENOSHA, Illinois border when a swarm of squad cars arrived, bearing a search warrant.
9 DNR agents and 4 deputy sheriffs, and they were all armed to the teeth.
The focus of their search, a baby fawn, brought here by an Illinois family worried she'd been abandoned by her mother.
When it made a little noise, it sounded like it was laughing.
Schulze deals mostly with dogs and cats. He videotaped the fawn they named Giggles during the 2 weeks she was here. The DNR began investigating after 2 anonymous calls reporting a baby deer at the no-kill shelter.
The warden drafted an affidavit for the search warrant, complete with aerial photos in which he describes getting himself into a position where he was able to see the fawn going in and out of the barn.
Agents told staff they came to seize the deer because Wisconsin law forbids the possession of wildlife.
I said, the deer is scheduled to go to the wildlife preserve the next day.
A wildlife preserve in Illinois, which allows the rehabilitation of deer. Schulze says agents corralled workers near the picnic area, then set out in search of the fawn.
I was thinking in my mind, well, yeah, they're going to take the deer and take it to a wildlife shelter. And then here they come carrying the baby deer over their shoulder like a bag of, she was in a body bag. I said, why did you do that? He said, well, it's our policy. And I said, well, that's one hell of a policy.
The Department of Natural Resources spoke to 12 News about the fawn by phone. Supervisor Jennifer Niemeyer says the law requires DNR agents to euthanize animals like Giggles because of the potential for disease and danger to humans.
These are always very difficult situations for both parties involved, and we are empathetic to the fact of what happened because we know in their heart of hearts they tried to do the right thing.
Could you have made a phone call before showing up? I mean, that's a lot of resources.
If the sheriff's department is going in to do a search warrant on a drug bust, they don't call them and ask them to voluntarily surrender their marijuana or whatever drugs that they have before they show up.
Niemeyer denies agents killed Giggles at the shelter. She says they tranquilized her, then euthanized her off-site.
I don't care where they would have killed her. It would have been wrong.
Shelter President Cindy Schulze says she plans to sue the DNR for removing Giggles without a court hearing. She also questions what such an operation costs taxpayers.
They went way over the top over a little tiny baby deer.
When I saw Giggles being carried across the thing, yeah, I did cry.
Ray Schulze says he has nightmares about the baby deer raid. He still hasn't moved Giggles' feed bowl or baby bottle. Penalties for possessing wild deer can run into the thousands of dollars in fines and even jail time. But despite the allegations outlined in its search warrant, the DNR tells 12 News it will file no charges against the St. Francis shelter. Back to you.
And in certain circumstances, Wisconsin allows organizations to house wild deer, but only with a state-issued permit.